The tea is exceptionally good today. Who made this? Very delicious. Hold on.
What up, Cosmic Cousins? And today I am pouring some tea for this May 16th new moon in Taurus. And baby, it's heavy, it's earthy. It got a little earthy taste to it, right? Now, with that being said, these oil prices and these interest rates are doing the absolute most, okay? The collective energy is feeling the squeeze, and we've absolutely had enough. Now, Uranus did teach us some new ways to get to that bag. Well, now that Uranus is shifting gears into Gemini, the new flex is stability, period. And don't say I didn't warn y'all. And y'all know I'm finna give you the tea on what this energy is finna be. But before I get too deep into it, you already know what to do. Go on and hit that like, go on and subscribe to your girl if you haven't already. And hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of this cosmic tea that I want to sip with y'all. Also, those likes and stuff help YouTube understand that, hey, I like her content. Keep them coming. Definitely love the growth that I've had on this channel, but we need a little bit more. So definitely help your girl out. And let's dive straight into it. Now, one thing that Uranus and Taurus has definitely taught us that old way of getting to the bag is no longer, okay? If you still trying to use some of the tactics from 2024 to get rich today, you are already behind, okay? This energy is definitely telling us it's time to pivot our coins, it's time to pivot our comfort, and it's time to pivot into this new era. This focus has a lot to do with self-worth more than anything. Now, this new moon is giving super new moon, okay? And it is ultimately a reset. Now, when it comes to new moons, let's go ahead and get into it. New moons are all about setting those new intentions. It's about planting that new seed that has that 6-month growth potential, depending upon how much you pour into this energy. And we pour into this energy for 6 months, all the way up into the full moon in Taurus, which happens to be in the sister sign season of Scorpio. So the initial new moon is thought of more as a system refresh, okay? It's quiet, it's internal movement. This is where the universe hand is on the blank check, okay? And it pretty much decides where you need to build from the ground up. We talk about Taurus energy, we talking about the sign of the bull, baby, okay? This is that fixed earth energy. It is stable, it is luxurious, and it deals with all the pleasures. It's all about those sensories, those things that we touch, taste, see, hear, smell, all of those things deal with Taurus. Now, I also like to think of this energy as our value system. This energy decides what you value and what you feel worthy of. And this is honestly more like an energetic frequency. And to be honest, the way that I look at things is more from an energetic perspective. But the short and sweet is energy is also associated with your self-worth. Now, Taurus is Venus ruled, so it is about attracting. So it also deals with beauty and those things that are coming to you, not necessarily the things that you go after, because I feel like because people associate Taurus with money, they automatically feel like it's something that you have to actually physically go after. But no, it is ruled by Venus, and Venus is very much an attraction, come here type of energy, and Taurus energy at that is very much feminine energy. So yeah, when it comes to all of the earth signs, even though they are very much go-getter energy type, they're all feminine energy that actually attracts what they want. Earth energy is more about just setting the stage for whatever you want to come in. And with Taurus energy, we set the stage with some cute ass outfits, some good meals, a nice home, some smell goods, just all the things that look good, smell good, taste good. Yeah, that is Taurus energy. When we pair these two energies together, especially with Taurus being so foundational, it just really gives new ways of money coming to you, new value systems, new standards of worth, and all that good stuff, okay? So we have to keep it real. This world is currently giving very much Taurus in transition energy, okay? We're not where we want to be. And we already know that the old money ways are crumbling. We see it. A lot of people who have lost their jobs, and there's a lot of people who cannot find a new job to replace it. A lot of these companies are trying to figure out how to implement robotics and AI within their companies so they don't have to worry about paying people. It's just greedy as hell what it's giving. But for me, I'm not mad about it. That old system was meant to crumble, y'all. And I know when it comes to anything new, it is very much get scary, you know, but at the same time, like I said, any type of new adventure is going to be, and you were meant to be here during this time of this big shift. So there is definitely something in you that knew that you had what it took to be able to handle all of this, okay? That being said, everyone's idea of wealth is shifting, okay? Idea of wealth is shifting. To start seeing the physical assets like money start to switch over more to the digital data type of thing, saying that money is not going to be around, but wealth is going to be associated with different things. Because we all are aware that wealth and money, having those two things are two different things, right? Oh, okay. I was just checking. In this new economy, your knowledge is going to be your wealth. So if you want to get paid, start selling what you know and less of what you have. Individuals months ago when I was doing the rising sign videos, if you want to catch it, you could definitely catch it. It's still true tea because I did it for the full year of all of the rising signs. One of the key phrases that kept coming up for a lot of the rising signs that I kept saying over and over again is, my mind is worth millions. We here at that point where our minds are worth millions. This is why being unique is incredibly important right now with this Uranus and Gemini. Those unique ideas and not being scared to just go out there and just do it. It's why this Aries energy is so prevalent right now when we have this Neptune and Saturn in conjunction, and how they've been rolling together so heavily lately. You know what I mean? Like, all of these key players are playing a part to set a stage, and they've been setting this stage for us for months. Party ain't stopped not one bit, okay? Now, I know there's a lot of people who are saying that when you use AI, it is our resources. And I just want to say this, those data centers are not being put up because people are using ChatGPT. I need y'all to know that, okay? Now, of course, I always advise being responsible. I am a big advocate for making sure that you are checking the type of company that you are utilizing. Don't just go and just jump up and just join and start paying a company. You don't understand how they do business, how they're running their software or their programs. So definitely do your research to make sure that these aren't companies that would be draining on our resources. But at the same time, a lot of that's not where it's coming from. A lot of these data centers are being put up because of the fact that there is cameras that's being put up everywhere. Like, period. I talked about this in the Uranus and Gemini video that I did, but yeah, you know, you have security companies literally are using face recognition systems to be able to follow you from door to door, from stop sign to here to there, and track you wherever you are. On top of it, we have all these deep fake AI programs. Like I said before, it has a lot to do with why I chose to do the what I did with my channel. That's neither here nor there. What I'm saying is privacy is wealth at this point. Security is wealth at this point. Make sure that you limit the type of information that you put out there about yourself and that you put out there about your family and friends is definitely going to be helpful, okay? Now, a lot of this you're not going to be able to escape. It just is what it is. But of course, don't make everybody's job easier by just offering up all this information. Like, some of it you might want to dial back a little bit, okay? Just because of what type of era that we're moving into. I don't think y'all understand how quick this shit is about to really just expand. Now, another thing that Taurus is known for is food and agriculture. Now, if you notice the shift in the news, moving away from mass production, basically junk food is what it is, moving into a better for you comfort type of vibe. More high quality, more local, fiber rich is the new flex, okay? Going to your local farmers is the new flex. Starting a community garden is the new flex. Energy is very much about finding new ways to get into those resources that you need. I talked about on the Uranus and Gemini video also co-op operations. We're going to be dealing with a lot of that. So a lot of these resources will be coming from that area. Just figure out how you could get in, where you could fit in, you know? This is about pulling resources together in order to make something bigger. Now, y'all already know how I feel about Taurus energy. I feel like it gives off an energy of worth, okay? It basically decides what your worth is and how much you bring in based on the energy that you emit out based on your worth. Your current C, you understand? Now, with that being said, oil is also an energy. And due to prices peaking around $115 a barrel, which we already know where this is headed, right? We already know where this is headed. And if you don't know, I talked about it in the Uranus and Gemini videos. I really feel like if you didn't know all of this, you might want to go over there and check that out and see what I was talking about, okay? I ain't going to redo it all here. But my point is that old earth represents that energy of oil. And we are being forced to move into something that is a little bit more substantial, something that's a little bit more air-based with that Gemini and Uranus futuristic energy. If you haven't looked into any hybrid or electric cars, I would definitely be looking into that. Okay, Cosmic Cousins, just a little FYI. Now, during this time, we might be a little bit emotional resistant, okay? You know, Taurus energy is very stubborn. It is unmoving and unbothered when it wants to be. With that being said, by that being in the moon, which is very much Cancer and emotional, Taurus energy really mellows that energy out a lot and really just suggests that you just take a chill pill, okay? So you might find yourself a little emotionally monotoned during this time. There are some conjunctions that could get you to be set off, but once you set off, you're going to be there for a while because like I said, you know, Taurus is very stubborn, okay? So yeah, once you get pissed, you're just there. Okay, us are going to be feeling like that, so it's not a good idea to really even argue with anybody because it's going to be a hard time for everybody to just see past their own perspective. Now, you're definitely going to be wanting to find yourself, wanting to comfort yourself. So, and based on where this energy sits for you, it's going to kind of help provide that comfort for you. So we'll get into that when we get into the rising signs, but for the most part, this energy definitely does love to emotional comfort when it comes to material items. But I feel like the most important intention that needs to be set during this is not just about the physical or the monetary value, more to do with your self-value and how you feel about yourself and setting that new tone and that new standard of value. It's incredibly important because of the fact that a lot of us are going to be working so independently. So we do not want to undervalue ourselves. It is very important for us to know exactly where we stand. And that's energetically with ourselves because it really has nothing to do with anybody else. I mean, I feel like we have just gained a new perspective. Of course, after Uranus had to unhand us, okay? Unhand that Taurus energy now that it's entered into Gemini as of late April. The moon is almost giving a goodbye kiss to the old way of doing things in order to feel like we gain a lot of things that we were looking for value that were physical and outside of self. Uranus being that planet of shock and awe, it was doing whatever the hell it want, whenever the hell it want. That's just Uranus. And with that being said, it was doing that when it came to our finances, but it really, like I said, had a lot to do with our values and our worth system and really forced us to just switch things up. Y'all know Uranus get bored easy. Understand this energy is powerful. Taurus is very slow moving, so it gives you a little bit of chance to think. You set your intention, but then a couple days after that, Mars enters into Taurus. When that energy of whatever you set as far as that intention goes into action. Energy understands how Taurus moves. It understands that Taurus moves slow, okay? It needs a second to ponder on this thought, okay? After that, it's time to get to work, okay? So allow that steady Taurus energy to help you keep that focus of whatever vision that is. Now, I would like to point out that Pluto went into retrograde in Aquarius on the 6th. Now, that, of course, is over there. We're digging up some truths. We got some truths to put on the table, okay? Now, trust me when I say this moon is going to assist with highlighting some things when it comes to that. I'm going to expose some areas where you might be wasting your time on projects or people or just overall, even expose where you're wasting money on apps and different things that you might want to go ahead and cancel some of those subscriptions to. Now, I do want to point out the very next day after the new moon in Taurus, we do have Mercury meeting up with Uranus on May 17th, and this goes on to the 22nd. Mercury meeting up with Uranus and Gemini, you can almost expect some shocking things to come forth, as well as just some shocking overall downloads that you might be receiving. So just make sure you keep your notebook by your bed. In mind that this energy may come in a little bit sooner. It may be presented to you at the time of the new moon, and it may come a little bit after. So just look out for it. While the cosmos is asking you to reassess and set new intentions when it comes to your worth and your value systems, it is, of course, going to be specific to each of us based on where this sits in our chart, okay? And you already know I got the tea on where this energy is finna be based on your rising sign. Stop playing. Ain't nothing about me new to this, except for these new intentions that we finna set. Now, with that being said, let's jump right into it. Now, typically I tell this in the order of house 1 through 12, but I think I'm gonna mix it up a little bit. So I'm gonna do this based on elements. Starting with the earth signs, let's get straight into it. Taurus risings. This hits your first house. Talking that house of self, that house of physical appearance, that great I am that I am. And you already know that this is a total identity rebrand for you, okay? Now, you had Uranus in your first house, tearing your ass up for the past 7 years, breaking down everything that you thought you knew about yourself with every random aha and surprise it could think of. That you put in all of that work, and Uranus has finally let up off of your neck. This Taurus energy is giving you that opportunity to show up in that new confident version of yourself that is more unshakable, not because you're stubborn, but more unshakable because you prepared for everything. Now, I know changing ain't an easy thing for you. And this is not just about changing up your hair or your beauty routine, even though you're doing that too. You're doing that too, okay? But this is about changing how you show up in your own world. And this new moon is giving you that intention to set, to decide what that looks like for you, babes. Now, for my Virgo rising, this energy is falling in your 9th house. This is that 9th house of expansion, luck, some of those journeys, both spiritual and physical. Even though I don't know how much traveling you really want to do right about now with all this, just especially because y'all tend to be a little frugal. I ain't trying to tell y'all's business, but I mean, y'all are, okay? And with that being said, it is time for you to stop overanalyzing and start exploring, okay? It is time to look at the bigger picture, okay? I feel like you're trying to control everything. You know you have an expansion that's on the way, but you trying to control how it goes. That's not how this 9th house energy works. 9th house energy is all about that freedom. It's about taking that wisdom and applying it and trusting the information that you have. So I just want you to stop, put the cramp out your hand and release the control of the energy, okay? And just let it flow naturally. The only thing that you really need to set the intentions for is making sure that you do not allow those control issues that you can sometimes have to control the expansion. Because once you do that, it's no longer an expansion, it's a containment, okay? My Capricorn risings, energy is in your 5th house. Child, the cosmos said go outside. The cosmos said go outside and play. Do something besides work. Do something besides worry. Have some fun. Be in your childlike energy. Let your inner child play. Now, I get it. I know you Saturn rules, so you do have to watch how much you play and what type of fun you having. I'm just saying be responsible about it, but enjoy the joys of life, okay? Enjoy romance, enjoy creativities. Now, I do want to say anytime there is a moon in a certain house, especially in the 5th house, you do want to be careful when it comes to, fertilization, because the 5th house deals with children, okay? It deals with those pleasures and the creativity and just the overall joy of life. And the cosmos definitely wants you to enjoy life. Now, if you do want to have kids, this is the best time. This is definitely going to be a very fertile time for you. But if you don't, then I'm gonna need you to be responsible because, you are Saturn ruled, okay? Now, hopping over to my air signs, starting with my Gemini risings, this energy falls in your 12th house, okay? Yeah, the cosmos said go take a nap. They said go take a nap. I didn't say it, they said it. House energy is quiet. It's behind the scenes. It is that reset. It is there to clear out any of that mental basement energy so you can start fresh. Now, we know Gemini season is coming up. So the cosmos is like, listen, go ahead and get your rest in. Go ahead and take your nap because it's going to be time to come outside soon. And you're going to have a hard time sitting down. You already know how you are. You extra hyper anyway. You have a lot of energy and you're going to really be wanting to go outside with that energy when your season hits. So just go on and rest up now. Go on and clear out anything that you need to clear out. And we talking about karma, any type of self-sabotaging ways when it comes to your pockets. Okay, this be having a lot to do with the inability to follow through with a lot of things. You'll start a lot of projects and have a lot of pots going, but then you get a phone call and walk off and just forget that you even cooking. Okay. Is basically saying, okay, I want you to go ahead and figure out why you do that and how we cannot do that no more. I'm just saying the whole conversation was had, okay? Now, my Libra risings, this energy sits in your 8th house. And this is your house of shared resources, those assets, those investments, also those debts. It can get real deep over here and very intense in this house as well, because we talking about transformations, we talking about death and rebirth. We're talking about who owes what when it comes to these relationships, okay? So that's why I always say this deals with the investments that we make in one another. The thing you sometimes have a problem with sometimes is that equal give and take. Sometimes you overdo. You have a capacity sometimes to love, and you love the chase of love, feeling that you get when it is fresh and new, okay? Time, you actually just get what you owe, okay? Stop allowing people to undervalue your energy by you just accepting whatever they give you. On the superficial level, when it comes to these relationships, is not being helpful to you at all, okay? This energy is requesting that you ask for something a little bit more deeper and something that is balanced naturally like you are supposed to be. This is a value reset for you, and it's time that you go ahead and set that new value as well as add some tax on there, okay? You a luxury brand out here in these streets. Stop playing. Now, Aquarius risings, you already know you got the last water house, the fourth house, okay? Air signs, this energy is wanting y'all to go deep. I don't know if y'all caught that or not. For my Aquarius risings, like I said, this goes in your fourth house, home, roots. Baby, I might just see you at Home Goods, okay? You are really setting the tone for your sanctuary. I would not be surprised if you go out and get some new decor to, set a new ambiance in your home. But most importantly, this is going to be a time when you have to dig deep in the ground and set some new roots. Now, y'all know I love to call the fourth house the creation station. It's the womb, but it can also be looked at as the garden. And whenever you are gardening something, you have to build like almost a border and have space for that plant to be able to grow, because we don't know how big the plant is going to be. But you just want to make sure that it has plenty of room so it can flourish as big as it needs to without any type of restraints. So it needs its boundaries, and so do you. Now, whether you are moving or just like I said, just setting a new ambiance over your overall home, energy is definitely giving you this new foundation, a new way of looking at stability. If you're wanting to actually physically move into a new home, setting that intention for that new home, okay? All in all, this is really going to be a time where you want to make sure that you are pouring into your security. And go ahead and set up those emotional boundaries in your home. Now, with that being said, Aries rising, you're next up to bat. And it's all about power moves. It's all about power moves. Now, of course, the second house is all about that self-worth. It's all about those finances. So this is the Taurus house, okay? Now, with that being said, your money and your values, securing the bag is going to be the season that you are in. You are already been in that element anyway. This new moon is no different. This is about you just setting those foundational intentions, because you move quick. This is about those long-term moves, the long-term wealth, not just those quick, fast wins. Also about redefining what you deem as what is valuable about you as well. Because like I said, this energy is about that energy that we ooze out to the world, because that's what we attract back to us. No, people hate to hear that sometimes, especially if you've been struggling. But I beg to ask you, what else have you been struggling with? Okay, I guarantee there is something that has been stressing you out that has taken that energy and that attention off of the energy that you have been pouring into yourself. So I'm just saying. Now, for my Leo risings, this energy actually falls in your 10th house of career, public image, and your just overall respect out here in these streets. Now, the spotlight is tuned into your professional legacy, okay? But your reputation is on the line, okay? How you value yourself is being shown out to the world. You wanted the spotlight, you got it, okay? This is going to be a time where you really just show you stand on your worth and your values and your professional legacy and where that's going. Keeping in mind that this moon plants seeds, right? And this 10th house is a Saturn house, right? With that being said, because of the fact that it's been teamed up with Neptune, there are big dreams that you've been having, especially with Jupiter looming, about to, be going and moving over into your sign coming up real soon. This is going to be a time where the cosmos is saying, go ahead and plant that seed of where you want this to go and expand to whatever you want it to look like. You just have to be brave enough and confident enough to stand in your energy and decide what you want and go after it. That lion or that lioness that you are, and yeah, don't play. It's just really giving stand on business. You know, I got the faith that you can do so. Now, for my Sagittarius risings, this actually falls in your 6th house. This is your house of daily routine, your health, your habits, just your overall rhythm of life. You know what I say. With that being said, the cosmos said drink some water. That they said it. They said it, not me. Okay, they said it. You tend to overdo it sometimes when it comes to the pleasures, that you forget that there has to be a balance, okay? The cosmos is reminding you that you might need to go ahead and find some balance. You are a freedom lover, okay? But find freedom in being able to balance things freely, okay? Balance things at your regard. You know, that's the freedom in it, but there still has to be some type of balance, okay? You still have to tell yourself no sometimes, okay? But yeah, I'm gonna need you to set those new intentions for that new daily routine and setting some new healthy habits. Be stubborn about it. Now, for my Cancer risings, this energy falls in your 11th house of community, networks, friends, overall uniqueness. But yeah, this moon is definitely giving new moon, new squad, okay? Now, for all my water signs, I just need y'all to know it's feeling a little airy. It's feeling a little airy in here, okay? We got a nice little breeze going on in y'all's houses. Now, with that being said, that 11th house is that Aquarius house. So there's already been a little bit of stir up in that area for you because of the fact that there was a switch over to Gemini. Your social circle was definitely already being called into play, okay? With that being said, luckily you are manifesting a new type of friend, a new type of collaborator, or some type of values that help add to the person that you are going to be in the future. Now, because of the fact that you are an incredibly empathic type of person and you feel everything, sometimes it does not help having certain people around you. And I think you already know that. So this is really just going to be a time for you to set those new intentions for those new individuals that are going to be more valuable to you, that will be coming into your life. Okay. Now, for my Scorpio risings, this energy hits your 7th house. This is the 7th house of partnerships, collaborations, relationships. You already know that 7th house is that mirror house. Now, this is about your one-on-one relationships, getting more grounded. You do deep like nobody else. So when somebody comes around and they feel like they're wasting your time, you really cannot deal with that. Okay. So now we're getting to a point to where your sister sign is going to be like, hey, sis, is this going to be a relationship or a situationship? And to be honest, you don't stick around in situationships too often anyway. So yeah, they really just going to have to be coming with it, because you need somebody who's going to be able to match your values. You need somebody who's going to be able to give you that equal give and take. It's very similar to what I was telling Aries about making sure that you have that equal give and take type energy. And because you require depth in everything that you do, you are really going to be checking to see if this is foundational enough to go ahead and plant that seed, or if you need to be planting a new seed for a new connection. Single Scorpio risings, if you are at all into manifestation and you are looking for a partnership, this would be a great time for you to go ahead and thinking about what you want that to look like. But I would not advise going ahead and actually putting it down in paper. And the reason why I say that is because of the fact that you are ruled by Pluto, and Pluto is in retrograde currently, okay? And it will be until October. This is less about anybody else and more about what you pour into yourself, because whatever you pour into yourself, you will be attracting unto you. You already know that though. Now, for my Pisces risings, this actually falls in your 3rd house. Now, that 3rd house, of course, is that house of communications, your local environment, your siblings, and your ideas. Now, with that being said, new creative ideas for you can bring in some new money, but you already know what it is, and you already are a big dreamer anyway. But Taurus is foundational. It needs you to bring these dreams into reality, okay? These ideas, it needs you to pull those ideas and bring them into some hard physical foundation, and you get to decide how you do that, okay, by setting the new intention with this new moon. This isn't the best house for you. I know, but this is also going to be a time where I'm gonna need you to speak your truth and stand up for yourself and say it with your whole chest, okay? This is where you set the new worth and the new value about what your words mean, depending on what you say, and valuing your own thoughts, okay? Now, y'all know I don't never pop up on here and I ain't come with no journal prompts or no affirmations. Stop playing. So you already know what time it is. Go get your pen and pad, take note, because these are going to definitely help channel in that energy and kind of direct where you need to be focused on, if that makes any sense. Starting with some journal prompts here. And I really want you to think, okay? Think about if your life was an actual physical building, all right? Now, with that being said, how would you pass a safety inspection? What does that infrastructure look like? Okay. And what I mean by, I'm talking about finances, health, or habits, whatever that may be. How is it currently held together? Is it giving tape or is it giving prayer? I'm just curious. Or is it giving sound foundational? You just need to figure it out. Looking for the cracks, okay? Because we're going to try and make those stronger is what we finna do, okay? Now, with that being said, my second journal prompt is, am I chasing the aesthetic of a soft life or the reality of one? What is one luxury I am paying for that actually causes me more stress than joy? A lot of times we chase what we feel like others deem as valuable. This is definitely going to be something where I want you specifically to really think about what you yourself deem as valuable and not what that looks like to anybody else, okay? If you find yourself thinking about what other people are thinking about, you know that you are on the wrong track. Now, my last and final journal prompt is, Taurus is about conversation, okay? Now, who or what has been over budget on my emotional energy lately? Or where do I need to cut the funding? I'm just saying, where do I need to cut the funding? Who the hell need to get cut off is what I'm saying. This is all about valuing our energy and understanding how valuable we are ourselves. So it's time to tell every single window shopper they gotta go. Okay, it's time for you to go. You making me nervous. You looking like you might steal something. I'm just saying. Now, my affirmations. Let's get into it. My very first affirmation is, my peace is non-negotiable asset, okay? And I do not trade it for discounts. And I meant that with everything in me. I don't know if you heard it in my voice, but you need to have that same type of energy when it comes to you too, okay? Now, my second journal prompt, I am building a life that feels as good on the inside as it looks as good on the outside, okay? Because ain't nobody told you you got to sacrifice fabulousness, okay? But you need to make sure that that inside is just as good. Last and my final affirmation is, I am worthy of a soft life, the strong bag, and the silent phone. Stop playing with me, okay? Out here in these streets, because y'all already know I come to give you this information, the purest of hearts, hoping that you take this and you take it seriously what I'm telling you and you actually apply it to your everyday today, because that's the only way it's going to truly be valuable to you. Really want you to be thinking about what type of value you have just based on who you are, not for what you have, what you can do for people, but just based on who you are, baby. Now, with that being said, y'all already know I done took up too much of y'all's time and y'all done gained too much of mine. It's time for me to go. But before I go and before you go, you make sure that you hit that like and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I'm out of here, Cosmic Cousins.